Hey,
Hi guys.
hi guys. Welcome back to another episode of Inside a Black Girl's Minds.
Yep, and today we are going to be discussing the top 10 microaggressions to be leaving in 2020, seeing as though we're getting close to the end of the year and it is going to be our last episode of the year before we get into 2021. So it is exciting and we're wanting to leave on a bit of a light-hearted, but at the same time, obviously having our intellectual discussions. So are we going to start off then? So we've got a bit of a list going on here. Be free to comment your own ones that you think that you want to leave in 2020, phrases, concepts, whatever, Corona as a whole. And we'll list ours because that's something I definitely like to leave in 2020. So our first one is the phrase, because we're trying to cover like phrases said to Black people, Black women that are just, well, microaggressions, the definition, it being things that people see either as a compliment or like light-hearted, and it's sort of like there's something weird behind it. Yeah, exactly. Not only is it like weirdly racist, mildly racist, it's annoying because we hear it constantly. But the first one we have is the one we've all heard before. You're really pretty for a Black girl, or you're really pretty for a dark-skinned girl. It's just not a compliment.
That is like so frustrating to me because it's like, okay, so why are you so surprised that there are pretty Black girls out there? Like,
exactly. It's the,
you know what I mean? They're like really shocked, like, oh my god.
It leads you into such like alley because like it's sort of like you're really pretty and you're like, oh, thank you, and it's for a Black girl, and it's, you can't even call it backhanded because it's just an insult. Like it's the fact that when people say this, they feel like you're unreasonable for saying what, you know what I mean? Like you're unreasonable for reacting to that. But in all fairness, it's a complete masked compliment is what I want to call it, in a way that, you know, Black girls can't be pretty.
I think everyone should definitely leave that. Anyone of like that is not Black, do not approach a Black girl and say that.
Leave it.
You know, it's highly.
And even if you're Black yourself and you're saying, I don't know, because I know some older people in our community love to say, oh, you're so pretty for a dark-skinned girl, especially within our own community, because colorism is something we just don't talk about. But it's not a compliment, especially dark-skinned, because you're not only saying that you're not pretty enough for a Black girl, but you've got your own community and you're saying you're not my standard of Blackness. And that's a completely dangerous ideology to incite within a group. So that is something we are definitely going to leave in 2020. Don't want to hear it. Let's hear it.
You actually don't want to hear it no more. That's the end of it.
And the next one we have is, can I have the N-word pass?
You know what? That is so disrespectful. I don't understand how people can actually even verbalize that. Like, why? Because you hang around with Black people, or we have white friends in our circle, that you feel the need to have that pass.
Right.
I don't
even know where the concept of a pass came from, or like, it's just absolutely mind-boggling to me, because in a sense, the way I think of it is that Black people as a group semantically reclaimed this word that was so awful and was used to degrade and diminish, and we've reclaimed it to be a symbol of unity and togetherness of a community. And then it's sort of like white people sort of be like, oh yeah, okay, so I've used it to degrade you, but now I want to be part of that reclaiming and unity too. No, you don't get to have both, because you know, you have to have had the experience to be able to get to use it.
I think as well, the music culture that we have as well.
Right.
you know, it's funny because you find a lot of white people that will jump on our music. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, they won't play that in front of their parents or anything like that.
No,
do you know what I mean?
no.
But around us, and I think this is where that kind of past came from. You know, I love your culture. I love your music.
Yeah.
I can get down with you guys, so why can't I say it? You guys are saying it amongst yourselves, so why not us? And you know, that is still a no. You can never say that.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And it's so funny you say that, because I feel like people know when they are saying it that they shouldn't. Like, even if you get it within a song and somebody says it in a song and it's like, yo, you shouldn't say that. And it's like, oh, it's just a word. Yeah. And then you're sort of like, okay, well, go chat that down in, I don't know, Birmingham or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to be that big about it, then go chat around the entire community about it and see what everybody thinks, because it's all right you singing it in the song with a car with your one black friend and thinking it's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
But, you know, like, if you're going to act 10 men in that stage, commit to the cause, right? It's this whole, oh, it's just a word, it's just a word. I mean,
you find though, even, sorry to cut you again, even in like white rappers and stuff that are coming out of the UK drill scene now, there's plenty of white rappers, and I rarely hear them say the N-word.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because I think they know the level of what they can and cannot do, and I feel like they know that word, no matter even if it's in music, is disrespectful, and their peers will be looking at them like, what are you doing? Do you know what I'm saying?
And what the rap and hip-hop community owe to black people as well. I mean, we basically created the genre, you know, and it's that respect. I mean, if we think about, and I can never say his name, Eminem. My mouth goes Eminem. If we think about Eminem, him.
I'll say it for you. Eminem.
Yeah, you say it for me, because my mouth just doesn't want to this word. We think about him. He's been in the rap game for years, and one of the few white artists who have actually succeeded in rap. You know, I mean, it was a very black dominated industry, and I can't think of one song where he says the N-word in it. And it's
neither.
Sort of like, if this famous, wealthy, he's made his career out of rap, can not say it, and you're using the excuse of it was one word in a song. You know.
I also think as well, it's that kind of use of I just want to say it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I just want to say the word, you know, because it's like almost 50-50. This is what I think, and I really want to say it because I know the meaning.
But that's that entitlement. That's that entitlement as well. The fact that they feel as if they should be able to say everything. I mean, there's slurs against almost every race, and I don't think black people as a community feel that we should tread into anybody else's turf in that sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems to be the same type of people that are constantly pushing it. And at the end of the day, I feel like there's a level. You shouldn't have to have that experience to be able to respect people and just accept, no, I'm not going to overstep in this same manner. Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems ridiculous to me. But our next one is, you don't have to sunbathe, you have a permanent tan. And I'm always dark as you.
So true, because I have been on holiday sunbathing, and you know, you just strike up conversations and stuff like that, and it's like, you're so lucky, you don't have to sunbathe, you know, you've got a permanent tan, you're lucky. Are you sick? Don't tell me that again, please.
I feel like it's just like a time that we dread when the summer holidays are over, or people have come back from their holidays and come up to you and place their arm next to you. It's like, oh my God,
they need their watch. It's like, look at my tan, I've moved my watch. You know what I mean? They'll be just like, oh, where did you go? You're so dark. No, I was here. It's just summer. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just like, oh my God,
Yes.
black people can tan. It's not just
Absolutely. And it's again the audacity, because never in a million years would I think, I mean, I'm pretty light skinned, and never in a million years would I think to go up to, I don't know, one of my black brothers. Oh my God, I'm almost as dark. It completely blacks me. And it's like we were saying earlier on, it's like, okay, Becky, does your tan come with 400 years of oppression? Because I don't think it does. Like, you can, we were talking about it before, it's something you can wipe off. A tan fades once you've, I don't know, been back to England, whatever. You know, we can't wash off our blackness, right?
And the thing is as well, it's like where people want our colour and our tan darkness and stuff like that, they you know, can wash it off when they go to an interview.
Exactly.
When they have to go into meetings and stuff, we can't do that. Do you see what I mean? So I do take offence to it. Like, stop. Like, you know, my colour's my colour, your colour's your colour. The only thing is, when you get a tan, you can either have it or don't have it. Do you see what I'm saying?
It's this feeling of like exoticness as well, that and experimenting. Like, this seems to come up all the time. Oh, I'm gonna try this for a second, then I'm gonna hop out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like that when white women say, "Oh, I'd love to experiment with black men," and da 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 da. It's that ideology that you're able to just hop in and out of black culture without having any of the trials of it, right? And
yeah, that's right. And like we were discussing earlier when we was talking about the black woman that was in the museum, Sarah
Baartman, right?
You know what I mean? And it's almost like they can look at us and, you know, and take the mick, really. Do you know what I mean? Call us names, and then we get to 2020 and everyone wants big lips, everyone wants big breasts, everyone wants hips and bottoms. You know, do you see what I'm saying? And like you said, it's like, you know, with them, they can have it and get rid of it. It's almost to say, well, I've done it now. They've experimented looking and feeling like us. The trend.
And it's almost like the fetishization of it all in the way we're talking, right? It's not human. It's a trend that you hop in and out of. And like everybody knows, like, trends, I don't know, come out of fashion, and it's like, oh, I can hop on to the next thing now. You know,
it's like unfortunate that we're the ones that suffer from this. Do you know what I mean? It's like everything that we've done throughout generations within our culture seems to always get ripped from us, monetized, and we're left. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That doesn't stay in 2020.
Our next one is when you're trying to have a discussion with someone and you get hit with that's reverse racism.
See, the thing is, and this is just my opinion, so, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone that is in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. Black people cannot be racist. I don't care what anybody says. We cannot be racist. Do you know what I mean? We have experienced the epitome of racism. Do you see what I mean? And I feel like when we are in heated discussions, whether it's about race with other races and stuff like that, in order to make them feel better, they want to flip it and throw it back on us. Like, well, no, you know, a bit racist. No, we are not racist. Do you know what I mean?
The entire argument just absolutely, like, there's nothing that frustrates me more than that term, this coined term, reverse racism. Because at the end of the day, I am an avid believer, and I'm sure many people agree, many people disagree, as always, but white people cannot experience racism because if you look at the entire world, I don't know, you look at India, you look at Korea, the standard of beauty, the standard is white, you know, not even just with appearance and the bleaching industry, with language, with schools. In Jamaica, you're taught that England is the motherland, you know, white is the standard. Yeah. And how can you be the standard but also be oppressed, you know? Like, it's the effects of colonialism. And at the end of the day, you cannot I think people get confused with prejudice and racism, and the difference being systematic control. White people have systematic control because of institutionalized racism. And at the end of the day, just because, like we were talking about earlier, and I've said this so many times in other podcasts, but just because a little black girl bullied you in primary school doesn't mean that you experienced racism. Because, I don't know, she was jealous of me because I'm white, or she was jealous of me because I'm light skinned. That's not racism, because at the end of the day, like we've said, if both of you go to a job interview, you're more likely to get the role, I'm afraid. And that's because of the society that we live in. And
that's right. And the thing is, on the back of that, another thing to leave in 2020, along with that, is you sound white. Do you know, like, you sound white, especially over the phone. Like, I've had job interviews, like phone interviews, and I've got the job. I start, and they're like,
you go
in. Oh, you're like, morning. Oh, and in my head, I'm like, oh, you didn't know I was black. Do you know what I mean? You know,
it's just
like, if I had a face-to-face interview, would I have got that job?
Right, exactly. And it's just, I mean, we laugh, but it's really heartbreaking. I mean, even I've heard it, and it's mad because it's almost this like stereotype that black people all have to be in one place. We cannot have different accents and be in other places. Like, people are absolutely blagged when a black person has an Irish accent. It's like, I didn't feel people in Ireland, and it's like, what are you talking about? And
black people in Ireland.
And it's sort of, you don't sound black. Well, what does black sound like in your head?
That's the thing as well. And it's another kind of stereotypical way of thinking. When white people think black people should all sound the same, we should all sound from, like, we're from the estate, like we're from the hood, we're from the ghetto. We should all sound. They're very surprised when you actually are well spoken, well educated.
What I mean.
Do you know what I mean? And that is what's frustrating. Like, when you can have a decent conversation, they're like, oh my God, what a fantastic conversation. Why wasn't you expecting it? I'm educated. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And like I said, it's just a stereotypical way of thinking that every black person looks the same, dresses the same. Do you see what I mean? Just commits crime and steal from shops. That's what we do.
And it's like articulation is automatically attached to white people. And it's sort of like, why? You know, like, I don't think, I've heard it so many times. Oh my gosh, you're so articulate. You've got such a wide vocabulary. And it's like, why are you so surprised? This should not be surprising, especially in this day and age. The amount of black educators we've got. I mean, you know, like, we're coming to the forefront and always have been.
So you see, the thing is, the majority of white people, they know this, and it's another form of suppression. They're not gonna, you know, they'll pretend that they don't know this. Oh wow, you know that there's a bunch of us that are pushing forward and making changes, but again, they don't want to comprehend that.
No, and it's that almost they don't want to understand, you know, like, it's like we've been saying this for ages. This is not the first conversation about all these microaggressions, and it's almost like the more people say it, the more it's, oh, but I didn't mean it that way. And you know, like, it's the dismissive attitude that surrounds this entire discussion. But another one that we wanted to touch on is that your real hair? Can I touch your hair?
Do you know why this is so annoying? Because so many white girls now they've got all our hairstyles. Let's be frank.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Like, you've got the weaves, you've got the lace front wigs, you've got the box braids, the cane rows that Kim Kardashian invented. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. So when I go into work and I've got a straight bob, but yesterday I had a mini afro, you know it's not mine. Why are you asking? Oh my God, that is so interesting. How do you glue it on? Is it sewn on? Come on.
It's just
We're in 2020. Now stop it now. Stop
and
it.
these are people that have got degrees. I've literally had teachers. I've had my hair in like, I don't know, I've had my hair out and then I've come into school the next day or the weekend after. So it's been a period of time where I could get my hair done, and I come in with box braids. Long ones, obviously with extensions in, and it's, your hair's grown so much over the weekend. Are you mad? Like, this is basic science. There's no way my hair could possibly grow to that length in the space of 2 days.
I don't know if they want us to admit it. Like, okay, it is not my hair. Okay, I just don't understand why. And this has happened for years, though. It's not even just now. This has happened for years. When I've been in school, was like, oh my God, your hair's grown so much.
Right,
But are you being silly? Do you know what I mean? And then you get the older white people. It's like, oh, your hair's so interesting. What? It's just great. It's just so great. I'm sure you put your daughter's hair in 2 pigtails before. You know what braids are. Absolutely. So this is something people need to just stop doing in 2020. Do you know what I mean? If you feel that one day I have a mini afro and the next day I've got 22 inches and you think it's mine, leave me. Leave me. If that's your idea of, oh my God, her hair grows like crazy, leave me alone. Thank you. It's just foolish.
It's so foolish, because it's like when they see natural hair, or I don't know, black hair, 4C hair, 4B hair, every inch of common sense just leaves the brain. They think, oh, I can do that hair, I can do that to my hair too. I get people asking, how can I get that happen to my hair? How do you get it so tight? Like, it's genetics. What do you want me to tell you? Yeah, exactly. Even when your hair is out and people like, they want to accept that the long extensions are yours, but then when your hair is out, it's like, is that your hair? Is that a wig? Like, this is my hair. Why should I not grow my own hair from my scalp?
A lot of the people that do this, they think these things are compliments. Like, you know, again, like just coming, and every Black woman and young girl has been through this. When someone has put their hands in your hair, we've all spoken about it. It's happened to all of us. My thing is like that kind of disrespect that you feel, that, you know, oh my God, it looks so different, let me just touch it. You can't do that. It's a violation.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And oh my God, it's so different. Oh my goodness, it's like cotton wool. Are you
and
no.
The con. It's awful as well, because it's this, you're a child, like you're literally a child, and you have adults coming up and touching your hair, you have children coming up and touching your hair. So not only is it really disrespectful, but it's giving that message to young children that anyone can just come up to you and invade your personal space. And it's sort of like 100%. And even when I was little, like when people would come up and touch my hair, I'd just stand there and be like, oh, I don't really know what to do with this. And
what to do? Yeah, you know,
exactly. And 100%. And it's that situation that you put little Black girls and little Black boys in, that they have to think, oh, you know, it's not something that white girls and white boys have to think about when they're little and going to school. They just get their education.
Because it goes back to the Sarah Barton. That's what it actually goes back to.
100%.
You see what I mean? That they feel they have that the, you know, to do whatever they want with you, basically.
Yeah, the audacity, the girl.
Do you see what I'm saying? Right. Like, and it's funny how all of those years ago is still brought forward 100%. To our generation and our day and age.
Mm-hmm. And it never sits right.
Mindset hasn't changed.
No,
they just because we're in a new generation doesn't mean these people's mindset has changed, because it clearly shows that it hasn't.
Absolutely, because this level of, like, we talk about Sarah Baartman and this level of like dangerous fascination with her and the way they touched and groped her, and it was like, oh, overly, do you know what I mean? And in the same sense, it doesn't sit right when you go to school and you have people feeling up in your hair, and it's like, oh, it's so different. Like, do you know what I mean? It's that same sense of,
and you know what, and as well, when you're younger as well, like how do you even take that? That's an insecurity in itself when people, you know, and as you grow as a young Black girl, I'm so glad now that we are so pro-Black and we are everywhere. We are talking about our skin, our complexion, especially our hair. Absolutely. So our young girls now are growing up with much more confidence than what we were growing up with.
Yeah.
Because the way that a lot of white girls treated me and my friends, oh my God, your hair's like barbed wire. Oh my God, how come it's so? Do you see what I'm saying? Because
100%.
obviously
100%.
and one day your hair could feel like cotton, and the next day, oh my God, your hair's so hard, it's barbed wire. And it's that confidence where you're like, I want my hair straight. That I want my hair relaxed. Just see what I'm saying.
Every time. And I think as a kid in primary school or a small kid, everybody wants to be like their friends. Everybody wants to be together. So if you're in that majority, it's already hard being a Black kid. Never mind having your hair, I don't know, in an afro or 4C. Like,
and stringy. Oh my gosh, let's not talk about that.
To have it compared to cotton wool and candy floss and then barbed wire. I mean, people love to make the associations of any of a celebrity that has an afro. We've heard the Michael Jackson thing all the time, you know. It's just it's this constant nagging and this constant questions. And it's like, okay, but I'm here to have an education. So you're inciting that ideology that Black kids don't have that or get to have that same level of education. Instead, they are there for questioning and to be poked and looked at. And it really doesn't sit right with me at all. But our next one is, are you mixed or what are you mixed with?
And you know what? That question is so common, and it's not just because you're fair skin, light skin. No. People get asked, dark skin and get my good girl gets asked this all the time. She's dark, but she's got that rich complexion. So it's like, oh my God, are you half Indian? No, she's not. Do you know what I mean? And it's like any pretty Black girl or any Black girl that has nice hair,
good hair,
with something, because Black people just can't have anything.
And it's so dangerous as we come across again, because it's the idea that you can't possibly be entirely Black and look the way you do. You can't possibly be entirely Black and be beautiful. That can't happen. So you have to have some element of another country in you. You have to be able to fit my standard of what I think is beautiful. Because you know, like, and it's just degrading, because it's sort of like, why can't people just be Black and beautiful, you know? Like, why does it have to be some other influence? No.
Because I've been told, you know, oh my God, like, you know, your hair, you've got such good hair. What is good hair? Good hair isn't the curls on my hair.
Do you know what
I mean? So this is, don't get that twisted.
And
you see what I mean?
It's again, it's inciting that the level of Blackness that white people think is all right, you know what I mean? Like, I'm mixed, and everyone has always, I've had the whole, oh my gosh, she's so pretty for a Black girl, like, you're not too dark, immediately step in with the, what are you talking about? But then my hair is very 4C, and it's sort of like, oh, you know, straighten your hair, or so-and-so has good hair. And it's like, again, you just see that contrast in the, oh, this is what's the acceptable level of Black, and because my hair is more Black, that's not acceptable, do you know? And it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous.
I think the idea of when you're mixed race is that you need to have these soft, bouncy, long curls.
Absolutely,
you know
absolutely, yeah.
So this is why you're probably like, oh, are you mixed? Because they're looking at the fairness of you, but my God, her hair's really
right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's, again, this idea that we need to eradicate this idea that mixed or light skin is the only appropriate level of Black, because I mean, it's existed for ages, and it makes me angry when you've got Black men who are commonly the perpetrators of this, who are enforcing these ideas and being colorist, because at the end of the day, colorism was created in order to divide Black people, you know, divide and conquer, slavery, and if you are feeding into that, then you're feeding into the process of racism and you're feeding into discrimination.
And this is what I don't understand, and this is one thing that, like, I think needs to be stamped out in our community. I take this quite seriously because, you know, for me, I've never had a problem whether you're fair, whether you're dark. We're supposed to just be strong Black women. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? And we're supposed to come together no matter the shade of our skin. But like you said, these things have been stamped throughout time. And if our own Black men are saying, well, you know what, light skin is, that's what it's about, we need to kind of stamp that out. Absolutely. Because they get us fighting against women, like Black women fighting Black women because of the shade, the tone of their skin. I just think it's such a horrible mindset to have. And I hope that, like, next year and every year after that, we can actually just leave that behind, seriously. You know what I mean?
It doesn't do anything.
Drama. It causes just so much drama for no reason.
And it doesn't do anything for the movement entirely as well, because colorism is something that we need to sort out within our community and we need to tackle. Because if we do not have that tackled, then we cannot tackle the deeper institutionalized racism as well. You know, it's the responsibility of all Black people, whether light-skinned, to be bringing dark-skinned women, especially who are sidelined and marginalized, to the forefront. And, you know, it's sort of, it's dismissive in a way, you know, because we're saying, oh, to be light-skinned is good, and then everyone's fighting about that. Rightly so, but then it's also like, okay, but we've got racism as well, so we've got colorism within our own community. This is a battle we do not have to have, you know, like we can beat this within our own community, and then we can go on to help each other.
Yeah, because the thing is, what I've never understood is that we all know where this colorism has come from. It's come from slavery, light skins in the house, dark skins on the field, picking cotton, and so forth.
Absolutely.
Why have we still let that carry us through? Absolutely. You know, and I just find it, sometimes I get angry because it's like, we're contradicting everything. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. We're coming and we're doing our Black movement and we're trying to push forward and, you know, do all of this thing, but yet still we have still in our minds embedded that, you know, light skin and dark skin women are different. And
absolutely,
that's come from slavery. We're trying to break those kind of chains and barriers, and we're still here talking about 100%. It. And this is what gets upset.
100%.
You know.
Our next one is the all famous "Why Isn't There a White History Month?" I mean, I swear, I might be making this up. I'll have to double check. I have to fact check this, but I swear I saw on the news one time somebody trying to push something about Diversity Month, or, you know, eradicating Black History Month and replacing it with Diversity Month.
I heard. I don't know if I saw that online, but they were trying to get a Diversity Month. Yeah, I didn't know if they wanted to get rid of Black history. Yeah, but they want a diversity. But this is what I'm saying. It's like, we cannot have anything, and we
say this time and time again. Every time we have a different discussion, it always comes to this point of, when we have anything, it's either copied, infiltrated, or just said, no, I want to, so you can't have yours. I mean, they say they want a White History Month, but White History Month is all year round, you know. I mean,
you know, if they want a white, I don't know if they'll be ready for a White History Month with all the stuff that they've done. Do you really want that dug up every year? I don't think so. So I think you need to settle down, because I don't think they would. Like, you know, we know that the Queen, her crown is full of our jewels that they stole. I don't think they need that dragged up.
Maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's how we beat it. We say, have your White History Month. And we just do it all about colonialism. This is
because the thing, it's like, if arguing that they want White History Month, what history for themselves do you have?
This is the thing. We've got that there's that trend going around about what actually is white culture. There is no white culture, because people try to pull out
white
Yeah.
culture. Yeah, there's no white culture. There never has been.
And it's
because you can't have a culture and that you've stolen from every person, every black person, and expect, you know, like Britain, their traditional dish is curry. Huh? Now, when I read that, I was like, but that's Asian. So where is your culture? Where is the culture? Where is your history that you want?
Back tea in this country as well. Yorkshire tea, British tea, and it's like this is
Britain doesn't have tea. Britain doesn't have tea. Do you know what I mean?
My mind though, because
the only thing I personally would say Britain has that is strong and embedded is NF and the racism. That's their thing. That's all you have.
Absolutely. They can trademark racism if they want, but that's where we're going to draw the line. I mean,
when it comes to black people, the Caribbean, Africa, Asian, they wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
No, but it's like this concept of wanting. We have 1 month where they decide to pull out Angela Davis and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. You have all 365 days of the year, you know. I mean, I've been in British education all my life, and I've never been taught about any Black history. You know, it's always Henry the exactly, and it's always Henry VIII and and the fact
and see, but the thing is, I think that you have to understand that where we are in Britain. Right. Do you understand? Right. They cannot take any form of deep Black history into their school.
Absolutely.
They can't do that. And they don't want to open that can of worms to Black students.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
They're whitewashing.
100%. And the fact that they think that 1 month is they're stealing history, and it's like, oh, everyone should get that chance. And it's sort of like, well, you've like gate marked the rest of history as well, history itself and the curriculum. Like the curriculum.
To be fair, if Britain really went and done this whole Black history in schools, like I would be like, as a white English British, but I'll be embarrassed. Because it's all being embarrassed. They should feel shame to want to bring that into school. So this is why I always say it's so good for our young people and our kids to have like Saturday schools that teach them these things, because our educational system will never go as deep.
This is the criticism with our country as well, though, because we lack the ability to put our hands up and say, you know, that's not a period of time we're too proud about. I mean, if you look at Germany and having to teach about the Holocaust or, you know, Nazi Germany, this horrible, I don't know, genocide that happened within their country, and they don't hold those same beliefs anymore, and they're not proud of it. But it's something they still have to teach because it's their history, and it's sort of like, this is what we've done, but this is how far we've come from it, and why can't we do that same thing? You know what I mean?
Because we live in a country that is still embedded in racism. That's why,
and embarrassed by it.
The thing is, you know, Holocaust was absolutely, it was disgusting. We all know, do you know what I mean? That was bad. They had the Holocaust, the Germans had the Holocaust, and, you know, the German Nazis and Hitler and all of that kind of thing. We had what we had, the racism, stuff like that. Now, the Holocaust, they've got their reparations. They got there. Why are we still waiting for ours? Why are we still waiting? Why? So it just shows me that, you know, every country that has gone through crazy stuff and thousands of their people have died and stuff like that through like, again, the Holocaust and things like that, the same thing that happened years ago in Asia, and they have, you know, they got their stuff sorted out.
Right, exactly. Why can't we? And it's the same thing.
Racist, because we can still believe what they've done and what they are doing is right.
Is helping. And it's the same thing with America as well. It's this so embedded within the culture. And it's like we've spoken about previously, it's what they financially rely on as well, because without Black people, the White House wouldn't be built, these streets wouldn't be built, you know, like.
What makes my brain hurt, because you know to yourself that without Black people, your countries cannot run. Right. That is the UK and the US.
Absolutely.
But yet still we are the most disrespected human beings in the world. Absolutely. So this is what I think. So if us as Black people stopped buying from the shops, stopped going to work, imagine if we'd done that for just a week. Do you know how much billions? Billions. Do you know what I'm saying? So it comes a point where we have to take more of a stand then, do you know what I mean? Like every month on a Tuesday we buy from a Black business and things like that. We really need to, if we want change, we have to go hard. Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting that you
not
say
just about,
No, interesting that you say that about Black businesses as well, because I feel like within 2020 it's something that we've like began to build up to, but especially within the new year I'd want to see grow much more as well, because it's that idea that the events of the lockdown have happened and it's sort of like we need to protect our own, you know, as much as we are helping the
thing 2020, you know, as much as, you know, the coronavirus has come, taken lives and stuff like that, you know, and we can't disregard that. It has also brought our community closer, I believe. Do you know what I mean? We're thinking of each other more. We're doing things as a whole, whether it's creating businesses, whether it's supporting each other, whether we're trying to reach out to the young people. Do you know what I mean? And I think if this didn't happen at the beginning of the year, all of us would still be going on with our lives. Do you know what I mean? I think something had to slow us down, you know, and really kind of reevaluate. So I hope for next year we go even harder.
Absolutely. Our next one is I don't see colour. This
nonsense.
I feel like it's I feel like it's
that makes me laugh. I never see colour. I never see colour. That's the first thing you see. It's like you going out. It's like someone saying, "Oh, you know, what kind of guy are you interested in?" For me, I'll be like, "Well, looks." That's the first thing I see. I see looks. Before you get to know a personality, you see what.
Absolutely.
So when someone says, "Oh no, I never see colour," you're a liar.
It's so dismissive as well, because it's sort of like, well, you're trying to say that everybody's the same, and in a perfect world, okay, that's a great ideology to have, but in reality we're not all the same, and our differences make us who we are, but they also mean that some are treated differently than others, and yes, it shouldn't be that way, but we need to be able to recognize it so we can tear that apart, you know, and to say that we're all the same and I don't see it.
Using that phrase as an excuse for your racism,
100%.
You know what I mean? Or your stereotypical views. Stop using that. Like, just tell me, "Oh, I don't really know Black girls," and you know, it's not because you're Black.
100%.
Yeah,
it's just so dismissive as well. It's so dismissive. I can't stand it, because it's got this aura of, oh, I think I'm like woke, quote unquote, and I'm trying to save the world, come by our singing hands in hands, and it's like, I don't see colour. You're not doing what you think you're doing. It's actually very destructive. I would leave it in 2020. Our last one is, you're actually really nice. I was scared to talk to you at first.
I have had that literally throughout my life. And like, I can't change my face. This is just what I've got. Sorry. But I can't change it. And I refuse to do plastic surgery. I'm not going to do that. But I get that all the time. I was working in this taxi firm, and there was an Asian girl, and she was really nervous, like, but then I noticed because my cousin used to work there, and she was cool with my cousin. I was like, oh, she's so funny with me. So anyway, we had to work, do and whatever else, and she was super cool, and she was like, oh my God, like, you're so nice. I was like, what's wrong with you? She was like, I was so scared to approach you. You're like, your face just seems so unapproachable.
Oh,
now,
I'm telling
when
you,
someone is unapproachable, to me, it's because they've done something. I've seen them behave a certain way to why I feel uncomfortable approaching that person, not because of what they look like. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and this is what I find. A lot of Black girls are supposed to have this mean face. Do you see what I'm saying? And I'm not walking the street grinning 24/7. I have no need to. But you know what I mean? But they have that perception that Black women are just fierce, angry, aggressive, and it's just not fair. It's not fair to put us in that category of you know, we jump out and fight you and cuss you out, and that's not nice.
And it's that phrase that gets told all the time where it's like, oh, smile, like, smile, it might never happen, smile.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? And it's sort of like, why do I constantly need to be walking around like this for someone to see me as approachable? Do you know what I mean? Like, people are allowed to sit with their everyday faces and not be in some kind of mood or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
and it kind of, it plays on like your psyche as well, because I remember like walking down the road sometimes and you're like, oh no, my face, you're trying to soften up my face. You know what I mean? I'm trying to soften it up. I don't want to look mean, but I'm just like, but I'm not mean, and you know,
100%. And it's that same category of like Black men walking, for example, behind a white woman and thinking, oh, I better slow down, I might be scaring her. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're constantly having to accommodate other people because we're scared of scaring them, and it's so sad. It's so sad. And
but it's almost like, as you said that, almost like, you know, when you see a dark Black man, you find a lot of women say, oh, I wouldn't like to walk with him in a dark alley, and you're like, but if he was a white man, would you? If you saw a big burly white man, you wouldn't be too scared. You might be a bit like, but you wouldn't be scared. But when it comes to a big Black man, you're like, oh, I have to hold my ground. You know? And again, it's that stereotypical, and it's especially because the media pushes that out so much. It's embedded in your mind that Black people are aggressive.
Absolutely.
You know, and so these are the things I need to say in 2020. Black people are exactly the same as every other people. You know, it's not just Black men that commit crime. There's plenty of white, Asians, they commit them too. A lot of Black women, you know, we have our natural hair. It's just that ours is versatile. We can do everything. You know what I mean? We can do everything. This is one thing. I appreciate my Blackness. I can switch it up and I can do anything. And I guess that, you know, unfortunately for some, they can't.
And I feel like, as we found out towards the end of 2020, not found out, but more like embrace, we need to bring this into 2021 as well, that this proudness to be Black as well, you know, not straightening your hair when so-and-so tells you that you don't have good hair, you know what I mean? Not bleaching your skin when so-and-so tells you that you'd be prettier lighter, you know, like we need to be proud of our Blackness, and society needs to help us with that as well, because of course if you're bashing someone, it's not going to end up well. And I feel like that these are the same ideologies that we need to bring into the new year.
But I'll tell you one thing, my recent job, I was at my desk and a guy came up to me and he was like, oh, I don't think you should wear, I had long blonde box braids. And he was like, I don't think you should like wear them. So I said, why? He was like, oh, it's too Black. You know, this is like a corporate setting. You shouldn't, like, maybe you just have your hair like how you had it when it was short and just straighten it. This was a Black man. So can you see how they're so indoctrinated of how we should look in their system? And should I tell you what? I won't tell you what I said to him, but I did say, you are here. I couldn't do that online. But he was an African man, so I was really disappointed. Ghanaian man. So I was really disappointed. And I really, really had to school him on certain things. I said, I cannot believe it's you, of all people in this whole company, that's coming to me to tell me about my day.
That's disgusting.
So this is something that we kind of need to, retrain our minds.
Completely rewire, because it's, if we don't have it down, then how are we expecting other people to have it down? It's embarrassing, and people need to sort themselves out, because there is no other word for it. It's embarrassing.
That's right.
Like in your example, to walk into a job where you have some white people in high positions, and then you've got a black colleague who is bashing you for something that you'd expect from your counterparts. It's like, if my own people can't support me, who can?
And exactly, why would I expect these white corporates to?
Absolutely. And it's so dismissive, and it's just an attitude we need to leave behind.
100% in 2020.
Absolutely. So definitely, if you have any microaggressions that have completely frustrated you, leave them down below in the comments and let us know, because we do want to hear.
Yeah, we would love to hear them, and we'll respond back to you.
Absolutely. And we will see you in the new year. Have a happy Christmas and a happy new year as well. We'll see you later. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.